some people think that this ayah is a clear proof that earth is flat. And then there are those who think that this ayah proves that earth is actually a sphere. So these two interpretations cannot exist at the same time. So what is really going on here? Well, this is indeed the most important piece of evidence for those who believe that the Quran said that earth is flat. But does it really prove that? Well, if you are among those who interpret the Quran without knowledge and just follow whatever meaning they think they see, then yes. But if you have the knowledge or have reviewed the proper understanding of this ayah and what the scholars had said, then you will see that this ayah does not actually prove anything. But how? I mean, look at the translation. It is clearly stating that it is spread out. Even the word sutihat in Arabic shares the same root as musattah. Flat or flattened. What is there that requires any interpretation? Well, simply because the word al-ard here is interpreted as the surface of the earth and not as the planet Earth. And so the meaning of the ayah is that the surface of the earth is indeed flattened for us to be able to make roads, build houses, and basically live our lives. But then why should I agree with the meaning that it is land or surface rather than planet? And such questions are answered by the scholars of tafsir. Like for example what we read in the tafsir of Ibn Ashur, who states that the word al-ard has two meanings in the Quran, a general and a specific meaning. The general meaning concerns earth as a whole, a planet created by Allah, and the other, more specific meaning concerns the observable earth or land on which you are standing. In other words, the surface of the earth. But then how do we know which is used specifically in this ayah? Well, we can just simply look at the context. By going back a couple of ayat, you'll notice that Allah starts mentioning His creation through the rhetorical question, أَفَلَا يَنظُرُونَ? Do they not look? So the ayah is appealing to the sense of sight and what can be observed with our own eyes. And then Allah gives us things that He wants us to look at, things we can see with our eyes, camels, the sky, mountains, and then planet Earth? Well, of course not. That won't make sense, because it does not refer to the planet, but rather to the specific part that people can indeed observe from the earth, which is its surface, the land, or as far as you can look, making the surface flat enough for us to be able to build, walk, move, and go about our lives. And so it is most definitely does not refer to the general meaning as the planet Earth, because that would be completely out of context and not in line with the other things that Allah had mentioned in context. Now, if we compare this to the other ayah in question, we can directly see that the ayah starts by establishing the general meaning. خَلَقَ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضَ بِالْحَقِّ. So Allah is talking about His creation as a whole, not the specific meaning. And then we see an expression used in this context, يكور, which originally comes from the word كرة, meaning ball. So, while wraps around is not the exact same meaning as the Arabic one, it still delivers a close meaning. And as the scholars of tafsir explained this word, they said, the word takwir means wrapping in the sense of wrapping something like a turban. And since day and night are what is being wrapped, it necessarily means that Earth is round or spherical, since yukawir is not just wrapping, but also wrapping in a ball-like shape.
The southwestern corner of the Kalahari Desert, where the borders of Botswana, Namibia, and South Africa meet, is the driest part. Nevertheless, some animals have adapted to the hostile environment. They can go. Fortunately, a number of man-made wells provide watering places where they can drink. Adults can measure 2 meters 30. This probably explains why so many antelope use the ostrich as a watchman. If an ostrich starts to flee, there's danger. When gemsboks move, they have no idea their tall horns are visible. But with the father standing guard, the scrambled eggs will have to wait. These goings-on seem to amuse the lilac-breasted roller. On land with scant vegetation, the wildebeest spend lots of time grazing. That's good news for the Cape crows, who ride on their backs in search of insects. All senses on the alert, because an intruder is stealing its way to the waterhole. Still, the big cat remains alert, aware that it's surrounded and watched by all the other animals, who keep their distance and hope that nothing serious happens. The lappet-faced vulture, on the other hand, would appreciate a clash and the opportunity to eat the leftovers. Tawny eagle. As hot sand isn't a problem. To the contrary, it's a good way of. This male, with his distinctive red skullcap, may be trying to attract. Lionesses are ready to take a nap. They'd sleep soundly were it not for the brown hyena sniffing around. Attracted by the scent of the game the lionesses killed the night before. The hyena gets the message and doesn't insist. Energy. In any event, it's a more clever animal. This squirrel family seems to be defiant. They look like they enjoy taunting the bird, probably to keep it away from their main burrow. The jackal decides to try its luck while seeming to stay in the dung. Move out of his reach. There are only 4 days during which the female will accept his advances, so he can't waste any time. Only briefly, but the coupling is repeated every 20 minutes or so, up to 40 times a day. We reach the dry, rocky landscape of the Karoo. In a local language, Karoo means the place of thirst. Dwarf shrubs and succulents are. The Orange River runs through the desert at the bottom of steep gorges, as if by miracle, and the water pools on the rocks. After the Delouse, the bare rock is covered by carpet of flowers. Dew has fallen in the cool night air, and the petals of daisies will open. Springtime is a short-lived period of grace. Food becomes more plentiful, and life flourishes. It's amazing to see gemsboks in this lush setting. Gemsboks typically obtrusive leopard, so they can ruminate in peace. Further to the west, under the influence of the Atlantic Ocean air, the carpet of flowers is even
The people of the Sahara have adapted to one of the harshest climates on Earth, with nomadic tribes such as the Tuareg, Berber, and Bedouin being the most well-known inhabitants. These groups have traditionally lived as herders and traders, moving across the desert in search of water and grazing land for their livestock. The Tuareg, in particular, are famous for their distinctive blue veils and desert caravans. Although many Saharan people continue to lead a nomadic or semi-nomadic The Sahara's vast landscapes are awe-inspiring, with towering sand dunes, some reaching heights of over 180 meters, being among the most iconic features. The Erd Chebi and Erd Chigaga dunes in Morocco are These varied landscapes make the Sahara far more diverse than many people imagine. The history of the Sahara is rich and complex, stretching back thousands. These varied landscapes make the Sahara far more and human figures suggesting a far different environment than the one we see now. These ancient artworks provide a glimpse into the Sahara's past and the civilizations that once flourished there. The geography of the Sahara is incredibly diverse, encompassing more than just the classic image of endless sand dunes. While the Great Sand Seas, known as ergs, are a defining feature, they only cover about 20% of the desert's surface. The rest consists of rocky plateaus, called hamadas, gravel plains, and mountain ranges. practices, from the way they dress to their religious rituals, many of which have been preserved despite the encroachment of modern influences. The Sahara is home to a surprising variety of wildlife. Particularly the trans-Saharan trade routes that connected North Africa with sub-Saharan Africa. For centuries, camel caravans transported goods such as gold, climate. One of the most important water sources in the region is the underground aquifers that store vast amounts of water beneath the desert surface. These aquifers feed the many oases scattered throughout the Sahara, which are crucial for sustaining life in the desert. In some
endless sands, timeless tales, and nature's grand spectacle. Welcome to Egypt's Western Desert. Years ago, this adventure pushed us to our limits a few times, but it was not. We started with visiting the Black Desert and made our first stop and climbed up a tiny mountain. You can find in the entire area black stones basalt. The whole area was under the sea level millions of years ago, and there must have been a volcanic eruption underneath the sea. That's why you can find shells covered in basalt. On the way is the Doctor's Hill. It is called Doctor's Hill because there's a doctor's. We then continued driving through the rocky dunes until we reached a nice high dune with spectacular views to make our camp for tonight. And made another stop close by. Kilometers done. So we drove through and climbed the caravan dunes. This was the old English road from Farraghada to Bahariya, which shows that from here it's 150 kilometers to Bahariya. Next we passed the caravan crescents and reached our final destination. It is already becoming famous for tourist trips, so you can see some people coming here and organize groups for the night, but that didn't bore as much. Got some coffee and captured the perfect looking shells. Through the caravan sand sheet and dunes on old camel road tracks. The scenery looked more or less like this the whole day. Nice camp in the Dakla dunes and enjoyed a nice evening. Instant need to be online, and I feel for the first time in a very long time present. But the scenery looked pretty spectacular from above. Into the valley between stones and rocks, and we couldn't fit through, so we had to clear.
تأملت والدنيا بها العجب تروح بلا عذر فلا ظلها دان ولو طال أمنها وسل عن هواها كل من ودها خطب ومن كان في هذا مقام ودولة فخير له جمع الفضائل إلى الذهب ومن كان في دولة فخير له جمع الفضائل إلى الذهب فخير له جمع الفضائل إلى الذهب تروح بلا عذر وتأتي بلا سبب فلا ظلها وسل عن هواها كل من ودها خطب وسل عن هواها كل كان في هذا مقام ودولة فخير له جمع الفضائل إلى الذهب ومن كان فيها فخير له جمع الفضائل إلى الذهب تأملت بلا عذر وتأتي بلا سبب فلا ظلها دان ولو طال أمنها وسل عن هواها كل
Covering approximately 2,300,000 square kilometers in total surface area, the Arabian Desert is the largest hot desert in the Asian continent, and the second largest non-polar desert in the world, second only to the Sahara Desert. The Arabian Desert covers more than 70% of the Arabian Peninsula. It is nearly 3.3 times as big as the US state of Texas, or just a little bigger than Greenland. Situated in Western Asia, the majority of the Arabian Desert lies in Saudi Arabia, although it also covers parts of 7 other countries which are Iraq, Jordan, Yemen, Kuwait, Oman, Qatar and the United Arab Emirates. The Arabian Desert is actually made up of 3 separate deserts, which are known as An-Nafud, Ad-Dana, and Rub al-Khali. The largest of them is the Rub al-Khali Desert, which is one of the largest continuous bodies of sand in the world, covering approximately 650,000 square kilometers, nearly the size of Afghanistan. The Arabian Desert is bordered by the Syrian Desert in the north, by the Red Sea in the west, by the Arabian Sea to the south, and to the east by the Persian Gulf. The Arabian Desert is usually considered as an extension of the Sahara Desert, as roughly 25 million years ago, the Arabian Peninsula was part of the African continent, but because of tectonic plates movement, the Arabian plate began to separate from the African continent and started to move towards the Eurasian plate. As a result of the separation, the Red Sea was formed, and the Arabian Peninsula took its present shape.
Temperatures here can exceed 40 degrees Celsius and drop below freezing at night. A lesser-known member of the kangaroo family are highly agile, living in groups of up to 100, led by a dominant male. But she's playing hard to get. Australia's largest raptor, the wedge-tailed eagle. Mammals, though a large part of their diet is carrion, the decaying flesh of dead animals. Of India. Yet, only 2% of Australia. The immensity of Australia's arid region is difficult to comprehend. 5.4 million square kilometers. An expanse 1.5 times greater than the size of India. Yet, only 2% of sand dunes on Earth. A family group of emus. Standing up to 2 meters tall, emus are Australia's largest birds and are well adapted to arid conditions. Its inner feathers allow airflow near the skin for cooling. But the desert also contains deadly inhabitants. It looks like a ship arrived in Australia, impacting on local ecosystems. Wild camels, perfectly adapted for Australia's hot, arid conditions. Introduced for transport to open up Central Australia, where they have thrived. Australia has the largest population of wild dromedary camels in the world, estimated Central Australia. Its appearance $15,000 years ago, most likely by Aboriginal inhabitants. The expansive alluvial plain of Western Queensland, floodplains. Little rain falls here, in some, but occasionally the Channel Country is transformed. When monsoonal rains push down from the north, nutrients and seed across the floodplain. Low-lying regions, Australian pelicans, perfectly adapted for long-distance flight. They can fly continuously throughout the day and night. Welcome swallows gather
The desert is a natural extension of the inner silence of the body. It is a calm, but at the same time raw and unforgiving place. Rub al-Khali means translated the empty quarters, and it is one of the least inhabited civilization to the harshest and most beautiful parts. Rub al-Khali means translated the empty quarters, and we started to understand why this vast wilderness got this name. 150,000 square kilometers, more than all of Netherlands, Belgium and France together. The sand dunes can get up to 250 meters high, and we realized that we now really were all by ourselves. Just the road, the dunes, and us. And maybe some camels.
The Gobi Desert is a vast desert region located in East Asia, covering parts of northern and northwestern China and southern Mongolia. It is one of the world's largest deserts, spanning an area of approximately 1.3 million square kilometers, 500,000 square miles. The desert is bounded by the Altai Mountains and the grasslands and steppes of Mongolia to the north, the Hex Sea Corridor and Tibetan Plateau to the southwest, and the North China Plain to the southeast. The Gobi Desert is known for its extreme aridity and harsh climatic conditions. By vast expanses of bare rock, sand dunes, and gravel plains, with very limited vegetation. The
barren wasteland. From a distance, the Gobi seems to be one of the most inhospitable places on Earth. They know that the key to surviving in the desert is to keep working and keep moving, taking their animals with them. and embrace the life of a in the world. And the Mongolian government has negotiated itself a 34% stake in the project. It believes that this is Mongolia's best chance at lifting itself out of poverty. Enough money to send his daughter offshore for medical treatment is looking increasingly. Thirds of pasture land is now no longer a solitary, grey, lubrious restaurants continue to tap the creature for tagging.
Okay, dropping.
Roger that. 40-minute dive. We can.
Could you bump my sonar in? Closer? Yep, one more notch, please.
20. Copy.
Thank you.
Approaching target.
Copy.
North to south. Current looks like it's coming north to south.
We're approaching the stern. Look at that. Yeah, that's good. We are at the stern. On the starboard side. Okay, we are on the site of S-19, World War I vintage submarine, scuttled in 1938. So there we have it again, modern trash.
While the crew of the Oceanos send robots to investigate the deep, some of their fellow scientists prefer a more hands-on.
And you look down.
Oh, right here. Shit. Fuck me. Oh, yeah. Look at that guy. Oh, my God.
Everybody likes to discover new species.
The technology opening up the deep is also opening
90 meters.
That's not an octopus, is it?
Looks like it.
I have never, ever seen that one.
protecting. Reaching the deep ocean might just allow researchers to answer some truly fundamental questions. Hydrothermal vents, hot springs on the ocean floor, are cracks in the Earth's crust. Some claim they could help scientists.
3,200 meters.
These vents have their temperatures, they're hundreds of degrees Celsius, okay, so they're really hot. And they created ecosystems down in the deep sea that are independent of sunlight.
Yeah, roger that.
Every
the doors of the heavens. Metaphorical words. The doors of the heavens with gushing water. Munhamir is like spilling a bucket. It wasn't just rain. It was like the water that you spill from a bucket. It wasn't drops. It was all at once. وَفَجَّرْنَا الْأَرْضَ عُيُونًا. The power of Allah. And we burst, exploded the earth and made holes from every part, from mountains, from valleys, from everywhere, into billions of gushing fountains. فَالْتَقَى الْمَاءُ عَلَى أَمْرٍ قَدْ قُدِرٍ. The water of the sky and the water of the earth met together on a divine command.
He called upon his followers and went to the ark, and in front of the ark, and Nuh alayhi salam went with his followers and his family and his wife, and he had 4 boys,
4 sons. Yam, Sam, Ham, and Yafith. Yam disbelieved. Sam, Ham, and Yafith believed. The majority say that they were on the ark with him. And Nuh alayhi salam had a wife beforehand, was the and don't be among the people who disbelieved. Allah says right there and then, because it was quick, and say Bismillah, in the name of Allah it's directed, and in the name of Allah it flows, it sails.
And Nuh alayhi salam will be in that ship and ark, him and his believers, for 6 months. Allah Azza wa Jal for 6 months protected Nuh and his followers in the ark, and then Allah Azza wa Jal ordered the ground to swallow the water. وَقِيلَ يَا أَرْضُ ابْلَعِي مَاءَكِ. So the ground swallowed the water, and then the flood's gone. So one day he sent
Ark, subhanallah, was built on a mountain and landed on a mountain. So you hardly find an ark that high. They say, Wallahu a'lam, I don't know, I've heard this story several times now, that they found the ark or pieces of the ark in Turkey somewhere. I heard this like 10, 15 years ago, and it suddenly was forgotten, and now they go, oh, the other day they discovered it. And I'm thinking, they discovered it then or now or when? But the point is, it is still on earth, and people have discovered it before. Now Allah Allahu A'lam, if we have or haven't, maybe it's fossilized, only Allah knows. The point is, Allah said in the Quran, وَلَقَدْ تَرَكْنَاهَا آيَةً فَهَلْ مِن مُدَّكِرٍ. Allah says, and we left the ark as a sign, as a miracle. Can anyone deny this? So at the time of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, this ark was still there, and people found it, and people witnessed it, and people spoke about it, and today they still talk about its fossils, and the scientists are discovering, because they know that the ark is actually still there. So it was sighted, and it was seen, and Allah says, those who are endued with knowledge cannot deny it. Those who read in history cannot deny it. So it was there. It doesn't mean that every single person sees it, but there are members of the human population who do see it and rediscover it and re-talk about it again and again.
And then Nuh alayhi salam came out. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saved him and those people and the rest of the animals.
Patricia in Georgia. In Genesis, the flood of Noah's time, where was Satan? Was he on the ark? No, Satan was not in the flesh. The flood wouldn't have really had any effect on Satan anyway. We learn in Job chapter 1 verse 6 where God was with his children, the sons of God. And Satan came up and God said, "Hey Satan, where you been?" And Satan said, "I've been going to and fro on the earth." So Satan had the ability to walk on earth or not be here on earth at that point in time. Does he have that ability now? No. Jesus told Satan in Matthew chapter 4, "Get thee hence, get behind me, Satan." And where is Jesus now? Jesus is at the right hand of God. Where is Satan? Hence, behind him.
العرب وأهم الأحداث اللي مرت على أمة العرب خلال تاريخها الطويل. هنتكلم النهاردة عن حادثة الطوفان اللي وقعت في زمن سيدنا نوح عليه السلام. سيدنا نوح نبي ورسول جاء ذكره في الكتب المقدسة لأتباع الديانات الإبراهيمية، الإسلامية والمسيحية واليهودية والصابئة، واسمه بالكامل نوح ابن لامك ابن متوشلة. ناس طوال العمر كان عمرهم طويل جدا، ومنهم ناس صالحة يعبدون الله ويؤمنون بوحدانيته. فلما الناس دي ماتت بدأ أولادهم وأحفادهم يقدسوهم وصنعوا ليهم تماثيل كنوع من أنواع تخليد الذكر. وبمرور الوقت قدر الشيطان أن هو يوقع بابن آدم في الشرك ويخليه يعبد الأصنام دي. والأصنام دي ورد ذكرهم في القرآن الكريم زي ود وسواع ويعوق ويغوث ونسر. فسلك ابن آدم مسالك الشيطان وابتعد عن منهج الله ووحدانية الله وتكبر، وظهرت بينهم الأمراض الاجتماعية. عليه السلام شيخ المرسلين وأبو الرسل، وكانت مدة دعوته لقومه 1000 سنة إلا 50 عام، يعني 950 سنة مدة الدعوة فقط، وليس عمر النبي كاملا. وبالرغم من أن سيدنا نوح اتبع مع قومه كل الوسائل الممكنة للدعوة، إلا إن مفيش حد آمن به إلا القليل من الناس. ومن ضمن الابتلاءات اللي ربنا الكافرين بدعوته كنعان، ودول اللي هلكوا الثلاثة سام ويافث وحام، والثلاث أبناء دول اللي تفرعت منهم البشرية بعد كده. وبعد نفاذ كل المحاولات من سيدنا نوح عليه السلام مع قومه، أوحى الله عز وجل إليه فقال:
وأوحي إلى بتئس
السفينة بوحي من الله. وبعد أن أتم سيدنا نوح بناء السفينة أوحى الله تعالى له فقال:
حتى تنين
اخرج من أي نار فاجمع في السفينة من كل الكائنات الحية ذكر وأنثاه، بالإضافة إلى من آمن معك من أهلك وقومك. وكان عدد البشر على السفينة 80 فرد، 72 فرد من قومه بالإضافة إلى زوجته المؤمنة وأبنائه الثلاثة وزوجاتهم، يعني أسرة سيدنا نوح 8 بالإضافة إلى 72 فرد من قومه، يبقى المجموع 80 فرد. ودخلت جميع المخلوقات إلى السفينة. ولكن كان آخر ما دخل هو الحمار، فتعلق الشيطان بذيل الحمار. فلم يستطع الحمار الدخول، فقال سيدنا نوح: ادخل أيها الحمار. فلم يستطع الدخول، فقال ويحك ادخل وإن كان الشيطان معك، فدخل الحمار والشيطان معه، فقال له نوح عليه السلام ما أدخلك يا عدو الله؟ فقال إبليس ألم تقل ادخل وإن كان الشيطان معك؟ قال نوح عليه السلام اخرج عليك لعنة الله يا عدو الله. فرد إبليس إن لك عندي يدا عظيمة فانتصحني فإني لن أخونك أبدا. فتألم نوح عليه السلام بكلامه ومسألته، فأوحى الله إلى نوح أن كلمه وسلمه فإني سأنطقه بحجة عليك. فقال نوح عليه السلام تكلم أيها اللعين. فرد إبليس إذا وجدنا ابن آدم شحيحا أو حريصا أو حسودا أو جبارا أو عجولا تلقفناه تلقف الكرة، فإن اجتمعت لنا هذه الأخلاق سميناه شيطانا. قال نوح عليه السلام ومتى تكون أقدر على ابن آدم؟ قال إبليس عند الغضب. والقصة القصيرة اللي حكيتها دي هو الحوار اللي دار ما بين سيدنا نوح عليه السلام وبين إبليس اللعين، علشان في ناس بتسأل أين كان إبليس وقت الطوفان؟ فهو ده الجواب على السؤال. وقبل بدء الطوفان
أطراف. داء الفيلاريات اللمفي. والمعروف بداء الفيل هو اضطراب يصيب الجهاز اللمفاوي، وهو عبارة عن التهاب في الأوعية اللمفاوية يؤدي إلى تضخم وكبر حجم المنطقة المصابة وخاصة الأطراف. نورهان براءة ولدت وتعايشت مع هذا المرض الذي كان الجدار العازل بينها
ما دراري كاين شي الحوايج ما يجوهاش قاعد تعييها
اللي انت بطلع باش تلعبي منا ومن بعد انا نولي نبكي.
ما تلعبيش.
علاج فعال ونهائي لهذا المرض، لكن يمكن التحكم والسيطرة على المرض باستعمال بعض الأدوية إضافة إلى الرباط الضاغط
عندها حوايج ماشي كيما دراري ما تلبسش حوايج كيما هما الصباط مع الصباط كي تكبر كأناني معاه لازم هنا نديرو بالك في المجتمع هذا تصيب بلاصتها بالك ما تصيبش بلاصتها وين
على الجراح الضغط على الجهاز اللمفاوي
ندوها الخارج بصحتك البروفيسور نفقع عنهم على هذه يا حابين في الجزائر في سبيط نقص